Validation is super necessary if you need to feel like you belong. It's super necessary if you want to feel like you need approval from everybody around you, whether it's your family, colleagues, friends. Validation is definitely a good thing because it signifies that you fit in, that you belong. But it's kind of not that good of a thing if you're somebody that likes to be independent, because validation can be toxic. You will base all your decisions on whether or not other people approve of what you do or how you think. If you like when you think of the animal kingdom, do you think a tiger, or let's say he's super hungry, he hasn't eaten in 3 days, and he's going on a hunt and he sees a buffalo. Do you think the tiger seeks validation? He goes to his other tiger friends and he's like, "Hey, is it okay if I kill this buffalo so I can eat?" No, the tiger's not looking for that. The tiger's like, "I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. I'm going to go tear that buffalo apart so I can survive." But tigers aren't very social creatures. And the thing about human beings is we're in a very unique time in history where we don't need a tribe of people to survive. We've always needed validation from the tribe so we could fit in, so we could survive, because you needed strength in numbers to just survive. But we're in a weird and unique time in history where you can essentially be by yourself as much as you want. And there are people that want to be alone. There are people that want to be more of a lone wolf type of person. And those people still have the innate tendency to seek validation. And I'm not excluded from this. I would say the older I've gotten, the more like alone that I want to be. But I still seek validation from my family and friends. I will come across an idea of maybe a job I want to do or something I want to do in my life. And I just go immediately talk to somebody about it, and I'm hoping that they will say, "Hey, that's a good idea." And then it gives me a higher level of conviction to go do it. But validation has altered a lot of people's perception of themselves in the world, like especially when it comes to social media. They constantly put pictures of themselves and send updates of places they eat and places they go, and the comments and likes and shares they get gives them validation and tells them they're doing the right thing, even if they're portraying a false identity online. They're getting validation from the people that follow them, so it encourages them to keep doing what they're doing, even if it's not authentic to who they are. And that I'm really talking about myself here. Like, I would share posts and make posts based off of what I knew people wanted to see rather than what I actually wanted to post, because I knew I would get that hit of dopamine to tell me that I'm validated, that I am fitting in with what these people think that I should be doing. And validation affects people in all sorts of ways. Like, look at a very young child. Before they can even speak, they're going to look at their mom or whoever's raising them. If they go to grab for ice cream or candy, they look at their guardian and they kind of like see if it's good or not. And they're looking for validation whether they should get it or not. And so that's just to show you that it's built into us. It's programmed into us to seek validation. And I just think that validation for some people, like including myself, people that are more loner types, that are more like lone wolves, like just to realize that validation isn't a priority. Like, you can make decisions that will make you happy, and you do not need to seek outside opinions to tell you can do it. Like, for example, let's say you go into a career that you think society tells you, hey, that's good, you should be doing that. Like, let's say you want to go be an electrical engineer because you think that that's highly, like, people view that profession, they say, You're smart, you're intelligent, you're going to be successful. Like, even if you don't like it, you'll do it because everybody tells you that's good and you're smart and they look up to you and they're proud of you and all these different things. But what if deep down inside you hate it and you don't like it, but you think in your head, you're like, well, I make good money and I look smart and other people think I'm doing good. But every day you show up to work and you're like, this sucks. I hate this. I wish I was doing something else. Like, what if you just wanted to be a football coach and that makes $30,000 a year? You just wanted to coach middle schoolers or high schoolers. But you'd rather be an electrical engineer because of the validation you get from your peers. Your family, colleagues, your friends, everybody says you're so smart and great, but deep down inside, you don't want to do it at all. And that's the point I'm really trying to make is validation can be good for sure, but also like have the perspective to say, I don't always need validation for the things I want to do. And essentially this gives you the freedom to truly live how you want to live and make decisions based off of how you actually feel about that thing versus how other people are going to feel. Because sometimes nobody's going to understand your perspective. Like, what if you just want to work at McDonald's? What if you just want to be a valet? Like, you want to work in valet and just, you love the customer service, you love greeting people and just being nice to people, but you're not going to make that much money. If you're seeking outside validation, everybody's going to say, dude, you need to make more money. You need to do something that's better for you. You deserve better. And so you convince yourself, yeah, they're probably right. I should do that. But deep down inside, you're doing something that you don't want to do. It's because you need that validation. You need approval from other people. And I'm here to tell you that you don't need that. And I think that's important. And this is not like, you know, if we're born in the 1600s or the 1700s or any time prior to 1900, like, this doesn't apply. Those times you're just trying to survive. You're trying to raise animals to feed your family. You're growing crops. Like, you're just doing whatever it takes to feed your family and to continue on your lineage. Like, that's all you're worried about. You're not worried about purpose and climbing the corporate ladder and being a successful person. And, like, you're not worried about that at all. But the privilege we have today is we can step out on our own and go our own way and figure out which path we want to take with our lives. And sometimes it's not going to make sense to the people around us. And I'm here to tell you that you don't need validation from everybody. Maybe some things, but not everything you need to do. You don't need to seek other people's permission. And by the way, I'm really giving this advice to myself because a lot of times I want to do something and immediately I get excited. I'm thinking about, you know, way down the road how this is going to affect me and how happy I'll be doing something. And then I'll go talk to somebody about it, seeking validation. Like, subconsciously, I'm seeking validation and they shoot it down. They say, that's not really a good idea. I would never do that. And then I feel down in the dumps about it. And I'm sure anybody watching this can relate to that. You get excited about something, whether you want to buy a new car or move across the country or just switch careers altogether into a different industry. And you're super excited in your own head. But then as soon as you go share it with somebody else, you immediately feel bad about it, or you feel guilty, or you feel dumb. And then you just give up on it. But I don't think it has to be that way these days. I think we have the freedom. You can support yourself and do whatever you want. There's so many opportunities and different avenues you can take your life that there is no certain way to live. You can be your own validation. All you have to answer is, does this make my life enjoyable? Does this make my life tolerable? Like, literally, is this going to be a better path that causes me less stress, more free time? Like, whatever your criteria is for a happy life or success, if it fits your criteria, I think you should go for it and not seek validation based off of other people's criteria about how you should live. So, I don't know. I just think this, obviously it sounds like common sense, but I think you'd be surprised on how many of your decisions weren't based off of you and you alone and how they were affected by your friends, your brother, your sister, your mom, dad, uncle, grandma. You go and talk to people and they're like, oh, you shouldn't do that because this and that and this and that. And they give you all these different reasons, and maybe they're valid reasons, but they might not be valid reasons for you. So I think you should just seek the answers from yourself and learn the hard way. If you want to go to a different career and it makes sense to you and you could see yourself doing it, just go for it. You'll figure out if you like it or not, and then you can go whatever direction you want to go. But if you're always seeking validation, you're always going to feel a little bit lost because everybody has their own individual perspective on how they should live life, and they're going to project that information onto you and expect you to agree with how they think. But that doesn't always make sense because you're not them and they're not you. So hopefully this makes sense. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you.